As Nigeria commemorates the 2025 International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, stakeholders, civil society groups have called for a national poverty dialogue driven by the citizens to harmonize practical solutions in lifting Nigerians out of poverty within the next 6 months. The call was made in Abuja at the official launch of the Movement for the Transformation of Nigeria motion, a people-driven movement dedicated to protecting democracy and promoting the interests of Nigerian citizens. Our correspondent, Ekaite Ibot, reports.
The International Day for the Eradication of Poverty has its roots in 1987, when over 100 people gathered in Paris to honor victims of extreme poverty. Since then, it became a global observance, urging governments, organizations, and individuals to work together towards a poverty-free world. This year's theme, Dignity for All, Ending Poverty by Social Justice and Equal Opportunity, emphasizes that poverty is a moral issue, not just an economic one. It's a call to action for us to respect the dignity of every individual and promote inclusive development. According to the World Bank, approximately 139 million Nigerians live in poverty, which is over half of the country's population. This number has significantly increased from 40.1% in 2018 to 56% in 2024. Largely due to inflation, slow economic growth, and the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. The poverty crisis is further exacerbated by factors such as insecurity, climate change, and poor economic management. It's worth noting that poverty in Nigeria is not just about income. It's also multidimensional, with many Nigerians lacking access to basic necessities like health care, education, clean water, and sanitation. The situation is there, with 133 million people considered multidimensionally poor and 30.6 million facing acute food insecurity. It is against this backdrop that Movement for the Transformation of Nigeria motion, a movement dedicated to protecting democracy and promoting the interests of Nigerian citizens, is officially launched as part of the initiatives to eradicate poverty in Nigeria. The launch featured the unveiling of the motion movement and a nationwide peaceful protest tagged Pots and Pan Action, which symbolizes the hunger in the land, the high cost of living, and the rising prices of food and essential commodities. The launch aligns with this year's call to action on ending social and institutional poverty in Nigeria. Speaking at the event, the motion convener, Hawa Mustafa, who harped on the need to uphold political leaders accountable, said 6 demands have been tendered to the government by the movement.
Nigerians have been living in hopelessness. The rate of poverty has been increasing. Currently, we have the rate of poverty at about 139 million of Nigerians. That's over 60% of the total population of the country living in multidimensional poverty. Of this living in multidimensional poverty is about 31 million people that are living with severe hunger, meaning that people go to sleep, 31 million Nigerians go to sleep with hunger, wake up not having an idea of where the first meal is going to come from. We have 11 million Nigerian children that are also roaming the streets of Nigeria in hunger.
The country director, Action Aid Nigeria, Andrew Mamedu, while painting the ugly situation of poverty in the land, called for accountability and the need for Nigerians to rise and take their destiny.
2 things according to Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which is the protection of lives and property and the welfare of Nigerian citizens. So those are the 2 primary things. And we think that as motion, we know that if government is accountable, these 2 things will be dealt with.
Other speakers advocate for policies that prioritize social justice and human rights.
Essentially for us, it's very clear to us that when we talk about Nigerians, when we talk about poverty in Nigeria and the number of people that are poor, when we talk about unemployment in Nigeria, when we talk about insecurity in Nigeria, when we talk about out-of-school children in Nigeria, it's very clear to us that these Nigerians, they live in communities. These communities are actually in states. There's nobody who lives in Nigeria in that sense. Everybody lives in a community that is in a state that is in Nigeria. So we know, we are very clear in our minds, that's what, that when we say that we are making this demand of government, we are making this demand of governments at all levels, federal, state, and local governments. And we are actually saying that local governments need to actually be more responsible. Now, because these days there's really nothing that goes for governance at the local level. And so we urge Nigerian citizens to pay, that if we pay, including civil society organizations, the media, and citizens, that if we pay a fraction of the attention that we devote to the federal government, if we devote it to our state governments, that we are going to see a lot more progress in terms of our conditions of living, because those are the governments that are actually, are closer to us. So
the Nigerian government has introduced initiatives to address poverty, such as cash transfers and social investment programs. However, experts argue that more comprehensive reforms are needed to sustainably reduce poverty and improve living standards. Ekaite Ibut, Kaftan TV.